Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to explore the kinds of questions and personal stories that honestly really make you think. We delve into the wisdom that often lies hidden within them. And today, well, we've got something really unique. It's a collection of very personal accounts, puzzling dreams, some quite strange family events, all shared by one listener. These were originally brought before a revered Luang Por, a highly respected spiritual master.
That's right. And his insights often help unravel these really complex karmic patterns that weave through our lives.
Exactly. So our mission today is to take these stories, these deep questions, and drawing on that guidance, pull out the key insights. We want to shed light on how karma works, maybe clear up some common misunderstandings about the spirit world, and offer some practical thoughts on family dynamics and spiritual growth.
It's really about separating what seems to be happening from what the underlying reality might be, based on these deeper principles, finding those karmic threads.
Right. Think of it as getting a clearer picture of the hidden forces, the connections behind things. So where should we start with this fascinating material?
Let's begin with the first narrative. It's quite striking concerning the listener's younger brother.
Ah, yes, nicknamed I Look Croak. His early life sounds incredibly tough. Starting work at 14, busboy, rickshaw puller.
And then amateur boxing.
But this wasn't just sport, was it? The outline mentions high stakes, lots of gambling, serious money involved, even death threats for losing or throwing a fight. That's intense.
It really was. The pressure was enormous, especially for someone so young.
And it leads to this heartbreaking story of his last fight. He was only 15. There was this heya, like a boss or patron.
Yes, someone who'd bet heavily on him.
And the fight itself, a brutal opponent, a gut punch that just took him out in the first round. He was doubled over, couldn't go on.
He actually pleaded, didn't he? Whispered he couldn't continue.
Yeah. But the heya, because of the money, forced him back in. And then, round two, it was over. Bleeding from the mouth, nose, collapsed right there on the canvas. Died.
It's just devastating to picture.
15 years old.
And this is where the karmic explanation comes in based on the Longpor's insight. It's not random. In a past life, this brother was deeply involved in cockfighting.
Cockfighting?
Yes, raising them, pitting them against each other, and crucially, forcing severely injured birds to keep fighting for his bets. Sometimes, if he lost money, he'd even kill his own roosters in anger.
Wow.
So that specific past karma, inflicting suffering, forcing injured beings to fight past their limits for gain, taking life in anger, that's what directly cut off his life so prematurely in this lifetime as a boxer.
So the way he died, being forced to fight when injured,
Yeah.
it directly mirrored what he did to the animals.
Precisely. It's an incredibly stark, almost unnervingly precise example of karmic cause and effect. The suffering inflicted came back in a very similar form.
Sobering. So what happened right after he died?
Yeah.
Spiritually, I mean.
Well, his spirit, immediately after leaving the body, was in shock. He apparently saw his own body on the ring floor.
And tried to get back in.
Yes, tried to sort of lie back down on it, re-enter. But he couldn't. The connection was severed. The dharma sphere, that subtle energy structure that forms the physical body, it had ceased functioning for him. Re-entry was impossible.
So he was just there.
Yeah.
Conscious but unable to reconnect.
Exactly. And for a time, he existed as a sampawesi. That's like a wandering, disoriented ghost. Because his good karma was relatively weak, he just lingered around familiar places.
The boxing ring, his home, that kind of thing.
Stuck, confused. Then, 9 days after his death, his sister, our listener, had a dream. He appeared looking very sad, wearing shabby, dirty clothes, a clear sign of his state.
And then nothing for 10 years.
A whole decade of silence, yes.
What about merits? Did the family do things for him?
They did. Initially, the traditional merits offered helped, but only a little. He was still described as hungry, still wandering.
So not a huge impact at first.
Not initially, but later, the listener herself offered more extensive, more heartfelt merits, really focusing on him, and that made a significant difference.
Ah, okay. So the quality and intention matter.
Immensely. Those later merits elicited him from that wandering Sampawasi state to becoming a lower-level Bhumadeva.
A Bhumadeva. So like a earth spirit or deity?
Yes, an earth-dwelling deity. It's a definite improvement, though still a realm with its own kind of limitations and suffering, not complete liberation.
Right. Still an important step up. But then things got confusing again, didn't they? This dog incident.
Ah, yes. This leads to a really common type of misunderstanding.
So 10 years after his death, she dreams of him again. This time he asks if she's moving to a new house and if he can come along.
A sign of his continued attachment, yes.
Then the very next day, she's driving to Pattaya, stops her car, and sees this small dog getting attacked by several others. Awful scene.
Right, but then the dog does something bizarre.
It stops focusing on the attackers and just zeroes in on her. Jumps at her car door, wanting her to open it, acting all joyful. And she's never seen this dog before.
And the owner comes out, completely surprised, saying the dog had been sick and weak for days. But seeing the listener, it suddenly perked up, full of energy.
So naturally, the listener connects this to the dream, thinks it's her brother.
And she consults a local medium.
Who confirms it. Says the brother, in his boxing gear, possessed the dog.
Okay, now this is the crucial correction based on the deeper insight. The brother did not possess the dog.
Really? Not at all.
Not at all. This was a complete misunderstanding. It was fueled by her dream, the strange coincidence with the dog, and both her and the medium's pre-existing beliefs about possession.
So, like, their minds made that connection.
Exactly. His spiritual state, even as a Bhumadeva, was still relatively weak. Communication through dreams was possible, but physically inhabiting or possessing an animal, no. That requires a different level of energy and karmic connection, which wasn't present here.
So the dog's sudden energy burst was just a coincidence.
Hmm.
Or maybe related to her energy somehow, but not possession.
Likely a combination of coincidence and perhaps the dog sensing her compassionate energy, but definitely not possession by the brother. It's a powerful lesson in how our minds, especially after something emotional like that dream, can interpret events to fit a narrative we expect or fear.
That makes sense. Belief is powerful.
Very. He was reaching out via dreams, his only available method. And what he actually needs now, what he yearns for, isn't to possess dogs, but to receive more specific merits. Merits aimed directly at helping him transcend his current Bhumadeva state and move towards greater peace, escaping suffering.
More targeted spiritual health, essentially.
Precisely. Not just general well-being merits, but ones focused on liberation.
Okay, that clarity is vital. It really challenges how we interpret things. Now let's shift gears to the listener's son. This starts even before birth with a really unsettling dream she had.
Yes, another very vivid, symbolic experience.
She dreamt she crossed into a dark land in Laos. Giant iron walls all around.
Imposing, inescapable.
And inside, millions of children, but they were filthy, disabled, missing limbs, deformed bodies. A truly desolate scene.
Horrifying.
Then this voice urges her to leave, but she has to take one child, otherwise the gate closes and she's trapped there forever.
Immense pressure.
She's obviously reluctant seeing their state, but then she spots one who looks physically normal, maybe cleaned by rain, grabs him, and gets out just in time. A nightmare escape.
A truly powerful dream. And the insight here is that this dark land wasn't a literal physical place. It was a potent premonition.
A premonition.
Yes, a symbolic vision foreshadowing the arrival of this specific child, her son. Before birth, he was actually a lower-level Bhumadeva.
Like the brother became.
Similar level, yes. The dream was a kind of karmic signal. The mother and son shared very similar, closely aligned karma from past lives. That deep connection drew them together and manifested in this intense pre-birth vision. The state of the children hinted at the difficult spiritual place he was coming from.
So the dream reflected his karmic starting point, in a way.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that karmic baggage then influenced his life as he grew up, leading to some really challenging behaviors.
Yeah, the description is baffling. Getting sickly in elementary school weak, bow-legged, swollen, even hunchbacked.
Physical manifestations.
But the hygiene thing, that sounds incredibly difficult for her as a parent. A really strong aversion to bathing, brushing teeth, washing his face.
Almost pathological, it sounds like.
And the clothes. Never washing them. Just letting hundreds pile up until they were moldy and smelly and then wearing them again.
It's hard to imagine.
She tried everything apparently, but nothing worked. He seemed content, sleeping late, eating one meal a day, just existing in that state.
It must have been profoundly frustrating and worrying.
So what's the explanation for that?
It's twofold, really. First, that past life influence again. From his time as a lower Bhumadeva, he had become, let's say, accustomed to a certain state of being, perhaps less focused on physical cleanliness or routine. Those tendencies carried over.
So he brought that habit pattern with him.
That inclination, yes. It wasn't entirely developed in this life. But second, there was an environmental factor. His mother's work schedule was very demanding, meaning when he was very young, she didn't have enough consistent time to really instill those habits of hygiene and self-care.
So the lack of early consistent teaching allowed the old habit to take root.
It reinforced it, yes, allowed it to become deeply ingrained. But, and this is important, it's not too late.
There's a solution.
There is, but it requires serious dedication. The listener needs to commit consistent time now to teaching him, leading by example, patiently, continuously. We're talking potentially years of effort to help him recultivate these habits and overwrite those old tendencies.
Years. Okay, that requires immense patience.
Yeah.
But it offers hope.
Absolutely. It's about shifting his comfort zone persistently.
Right. But the strangest part of the son's story is still to come. This old man transformation when he was 16. That sounds terrifying.
It does sound incredibly alarming, yes.
He was staying at his aunt's house. Both the aunt and the listener found him changed. Looking like a really ancient, wrinkled, dark, hunched man, almost 100 years old, and unresponsive.
A shocking sight, undoubtedly.
The listener, thinking on her feet despite her fear, tried to act normal. Offered holy water, he refused. Then she tricked him into bathing in it and managed to slip a Luang Pu Wat Paknam amulet around his neck.
A powerful protective amulet.
His reaction was intense. Crying out the amulet was heavy, wanting it off, complaining the holy water was freezing cold even though it was daytime.
Very dramatic reactions.
She then made him chant and meditate, and slowly he seemed to return to normal, finally saying, "Mom, it's gone." Like something left him.
Okay. This is another crucial point where perception and reality diverge, much like the dog incident.
So he wasn't possessed by an old man's spirit.
No, absolutely not possessed. The insight reveals the old man appearance was a combination of factors.
Like what?
Firstly, his own physical state, remember? He was described as sickly, weak, hunchbacked, probably sluggish, and poorly nourished due to his habits. That created a certain baseline appearance. Secondly, and crucially, the strong, pre-existing belief in possession held by both his mother and his aunt.
Their belief influenced what they saw again.
Precisely. Their minds, already perhaps worried or primed for something supernatural given his strangeness, interpreted his unwell, sluggish state as an old man. Their perception bent the reality, much like with the dog. They saw an old man because that explanation fit their framework.
And his reactions, the amulet being heavy, the water cold.
Think about it. He already hated bathing, right? So any water, especially if forced upon him, would feel unpleasantly cold. And the amulet, he wasn't used to wearing one. It would feel foreign, heavy, annoying. It wasn't a supernatural burden, it was physical discomfort and unfamiliarity.
So not a spirit reacting, but him reacting to unfamiliar physical sensations.
Exactly. It's another potent example of how our beliefs and expectations can shape our sensory experience and interpretation of events. We need to be so careful about jumping to supernatural conclusions.
Wow, that reframes the whole terrifying event. It's still disturbing, but in a different way. Okay, let's touch on the listener's mother briefly. What happened to her after she passed away?
Her situation initially mirrored the brothers. After death, she became a wandering ghost, struggling, disoriented.
Also a Sampawasi state.
Yes, but again, merits dedicated to her by the family helped significantly. She was also elevated to the Bhuma Deva realm.
So similar to the brother's progression.
Similar path, yes. But even as a Bhuma Deva, she still experiences difficulties, a degree of suffering and wandering. And she, too, really desires more merits to help her transcend that state and find greater peace.
It really emphasizes the ongoing nature of spiritual support, doesn't it? Even after reaching a better state.
It does. Progress requires continued effort and support.
Now, something quite different, the listener's own physical healing. She had a uterine fibroid that just disappeared without surgery.
Yes, and this connects back to her own past karma. The insight suggests this condition stemmed from a past life where she lived as a male and was something of a playboy, a womanizer.
Interesting. So past life actions manifesting physically.
Correct. The attachments and actions from that life created this specific karmic result. However, and this is the hopeful part, the karmic consequence wasn't overwhelmingly severe, and crucially, her current positive actions.
Her good deeds now.
Yes, her consistent good deeds, her spiritual practice, her compassion in this life were strong enough to effectively cut off the negative karmic effect. They resolved the karma, leading to the fibroid disappearing naturally.
That's amazing. So our present actions can actually neutralize or heal past negative karma.
Absolutely. It's a powerful demonstration of agency. We aren't just passive recipients of past karma. Our present virtue can actively change its course.
That's incredibly empowering. So let's tie all these threads together. The listener, her current husband, her son. What's their collective spiritual picture?
Looking at the bigger picture, the insight reveals that this core group, listener, husband, son, they have a history together across lifetimes. They had made merits with the Sangha, the monastic community, in the past.
Okay, so they had a connection to the path before.
They did. But, and this is key, they did so inconsistently. There wasn't a steady, dedicated commitment.
Inconsistency.
And that inconsistency left a kind of seed, a tendency within them. This tendency often led them, in various lives, including this one, to get sidetracked, to follow mediums or believe in things like possession, as we saw in the stories. It created a susceptibility to misinterpretation.
So that explains the recurring theme of misunderstanding supernatural events.
It's a contributing factor, yes, a
Yeah.
lingering pattern from that past inconsistency. So the call to action for them now, having reconnected with genuine spiritual understanding, is clear.
What's the guidance?
They need to commit fully and crucially, consistently, to making merits with the Sangha now. Building that steady foundation of practice, rooted in right understanding, is what will help them overcome that old pattern and achieve lasting spiritual progress together as a family.
Consistency is the key to breaking the old cycle.
Exactly. Building a solid, shared spiritual foundation moving forward.
This has been an incredible journey through these stories. We've really seen the power of karma, how past actions echo so precisely in the present. Lives, deaths, even personality traits.
The connections are undeniable when you look closely.
And that critical difference between perception and reality. How much our beliefs can color, even create, our experiences, especially around things that seem strange or frightening.
It's a constant theme, isn't it? The mind's power to interpret and sometimes misinterpret.
But also the immense power of good deeds, of consistent practice to heal, to elevate, to change our karmic trajectory. That's the hopeful message running through it all.
Absolutely. And perhaps a final thought for you, our listener, reflecting on all this. What's truly fascinating is how these accounts highlight the incredible interconnectedness of everything across lifetimes, between beings, linking actions to outcomes.
Right.
And it raises a really important question, I think. How much of what we perceive in our own lives as supernatural or simply unexplainable might actually have its roots in the subtle dance between our past actions, our present circumstances, and perhaps most importantly, our own deeply ingrained beliefs and perceptions?
That's definitely something to mull over. How much is karma, how much is circumstance, and how much is the lens through which we're viewing it all?
Exactly. It encourages a deeper look, a more critical self-awareness as we navigate our own experiences. We hope this exploration has offered some valuable clarity.